For years, China has aggressively marketed its air defense systems as the perfect combination of affordability and cutting-edge capability, a world-class shield that even developing nations could afford. Countries like Pakistan, Iran, and even Russia became eager customers of this so-called affordable excellence. Pakistan has deployed a range of Chinese-made surface-to-air missile systems to protect its strategic bases, including the HQ-9, HQ-9P, HQ-9B, HQ-16, and HQ-7B. Iran, on the other hand, integrated China's JY-10 command and control system into its national air defense network, and later added the Shen-Nome Shield 5000, a laser-based defense system touted as the final layer of protection. Even the Russian National Guard adopted what appeared to be a rebranded version of the Shen-Nome Shield during the Ukraine war. However, during the recent conflicts, China's claims have been shattered, not only by India but also by Israel. First, let us talk about Operation Sindoor. Air defense systems exist for one primary reason: to protect strategic assets like military bases, radar stations, electronic warfare hubs, and even civilian infrastructure. But during Operation Sindoor, India not only managed to strike 11 Pakistani military targets using cruise missiles, it also destroyed two of the very systems meant to stop such attacks: an air defense radar and a Chinese-made HQ-9 surface-to-air missile system. What makes it worse is how it happened. Both were taken out by slow-moving weapons like drones and loitering munitions, not even supersonic jets or ballistic missiles. And it didn't stop there. In Lahore, on May 10th, another Chinese export, the LY-80 medium-range air defense system, was neutralized using a Harpy kamikaze drone. That's not just a breach of air defense, that's a complete systems failure. Despite being on high alert, Pakistani defenses failed to detect, track, or intercept these threats. The HQ-9, which China claims rivals the American Patriot, didn't even launch. The radars went dark, and the very systems that were supposed to form a multi-layered shield became sitting ducks. Now coming to the Israeli attacks on Iran. Israel's Operation Rising Lion was nothing short of a masterclass in modern warfare. In a single night, over 200 Israeli fighter jets launched a preemptive and coordinated strike deep inside Iran. Their targets? High-value military leaders, nuclear enrichment facilities, missile silos, and critical military bases, all of them supposedly protected by some of the most advanced Chinese-origin air defense systems, including the JY-10 radar and the Shen-Nome laser shield. But when the missiles came raining down, these systems were either too slow to respond or completely blind. In fact, Israeli stealth drones were reportedly pre-positioned inside Iran weeks before the operation, and the air defense network never saw them. Once the strike began, Iranian systems failed to even track incoming jets like the F-35I, let alone stop them. The result? Iran's entire Western air defense grid was dismantled in under 30 minutes, and some of the most sensitive nuclear facilities were left in flames. Israeli forces even conducted decapitation strikes that targeted Iran's top military officials, effectively paralyzing their response mechanism. Just like in Pakistan, the Chinese systems Iran trusted, including the JY-10, which China touts as the most advanced anti-air command and control system on Earth, failed to defend against a well-coordinated, multi-stage wave attack. There's a growing global perception that Chinese defense systems, from HQ-9 and LY-80 to JY-10 radars and even fighter jets, suffer from critical reliability issues. At the heart of this perception is the fact that many of these platforms are reverse-engineered from Russian or Western technology. But unlike their originals, they often lack the deep combat testing, integration finesse, and battlefield-proven design tweaks that make a system truly effective. These systems might look impressive on paper, but they consistently fall short in real-world scenarios. They lack dynamic targeting, robust sensor fusion, and high-speed multi-vector threat response, the exact capabilities tested in high-pressure environments like the strikes India carried out during Operation Sindoor or Israel during Operation Rising Lion. To make them more export-friendly, China often cuts costs by using civilian-grade components in downgraded versions sold abroad. This leads to poor detection capabilities against low-signature drones and loitering munitions, especially in cluttered or mountainous terrain like Pakistan or Iran. But to be fair, even the US went through similar growing pains. During Operation Desert Storm in 1991, the much-hyped Patriot missile system had a less-than-perfect interception rate against Iraqi Scuds. However, as the US finds itself at war in nearly every decade, its military benefits from sustained combat exposure, transparent assessments, and robust research and development funding. The US military was able to iterate and dramatically improve its systems over time. China lacks this feedback loop. Its systems have not been tested in war. Worse still, the performance gap is exacerbated by deep-rooted corruption. Defense giants like China Electronics Technology Group Corporation, which manufactures the JY-10 radar and Shin-Nome laser system, have seen high-ranking officials arrested for cutting corners, faking test results, and using substandard components. The result? Exported Chinese systems might pass parades and marketing campaigns, but when it comes to protecting critical assets in real war, they fail to live up to the hype. Some might wonder, wasn't it also India's first real test? Weren't systems like Akashteer, the Akashteer, and the Skystriker loitering munitions seeing combat for the first time during Operation Sindoor? So, why did they work? The answer lies in how India built, tested, and integrated its defense ecosystem compared to China's export-first, marketing-heavy strategy. Unlike Chinese systems that are mass-produced for export across variable terrains, India's systems were developed by DRDO with a deep understanding of the subcontinent's threat environment, especially high-altitude warfare, cross-border drone incursions, and ballistic missile defense. Akashteer was optimized for quick reaction time and high mobility, ideal for covering forward-deployed bases. Akashteer, being AI-driven, links multiple sensors, radars, and weapon systems into a single combat grid, reducing human reaction delay and allowing coordinated drone and missile interceptions. Skystriker and other loitering munitions were tailored to evade radar, loiter in target zones, and strike only when opportunity arises, particularly effective against exposed air defense radars like Pakistan's LY-80 and HQ-9. Where Chinese systems often operate as standalone platforms, India's approach has been to create a network-centric warfare architecture. This tight integration allowed Indian operators to detect and strike targets faster and more accurately, even with first-use systems. India's air defense systems may not have seen combat before, but they weren't untested. Akash, for example, was regularly deployed in live fire exercises near the line of control and Indo-China border. Skystriker was developed in collaboration with Israel's Elbit Systems and underwent stress testing in high altitude and hot dusty conditions, something most Chinese export models never go through before sale. DRDO also conducted numerous simulated combat trials using real-world tactics, which China rarely does with its exported systems. India's systems may be cost-effective, but they weren't built to impress buyers at expos. They were built to protect against real threats: Chinese drones in the northeast, Pakistani cruise missiles from the west. And unlike China's platforms, India didn't rush to sell its systems overseas before proving them at home. This ensured reliability when the moment finally came. Now, to be fair, there's another argument that countries like Pakistan and Iran don't operate these Chinese air defense systems in large enough numbers. Systems like the HQ-9, HQ-16, or the JY-10 command radar are expensive for countries like Pakistan and Iran. They deployed them in limited quantities around select high-value targets. So it's possible that a denser network of such systems might have improved interception rates. But here's the problem: modern air defense isn't just about quantity, it's about quality, integration, and adaptability. And on all those fronts, Chinese systems failed. They couldn't detect or respond to slow-moving drones, loitering munitions, or electronic decoys, threats that today's battlefield is dominated by. So even if more units were deployed, The outcome may have only delayed the inevitable.